Well, welcome everyone. I have a fantastic show today. We are on 100% on Not in Your Business, where we talk to business owners, business coaches, and those that help business owners get out of the day-to-day activities of their businesses so that they can focus on their business, driving the customer count, driving their revenue, and ultimately achieving the vision that they set forth in their business when they open their doors. Today, I'm super excited. I have Lindsay Kline. She is the CEO and founder of Sakline Bookkeeping. Lindsay, welcome to the show today.
Thank you so much, Steve. It's a pleasure to be here. I appreciate you having me on.
Certainly, certainly. Well, I was telling you, whenever I have guests like you on, that you own your own business. So I'm very interested to hear kind of what your struggles are. But then two, you help businesses and business owners with the things that they shouldn't be doing. Like nobody gets in the business to keep the books, right?
Well, I do.
You do, yeah, right. But I'm very interested to see where our conversation goes today. So with Sakline Bookkeeping, you are a growing business. I know you're adding employees even here in these recent days. What are some of those challenges you have continuing to work on your business and not in your business?
For me, actually, I had this conversation, ironically enough, just a few hours ago when I went to a networking lunch and had a prior bookkeeper who is now doing financial coaching tell me that she's seen the way that I've structured my business model in that I have several employees and they handle most of the client work doing the bookkeeping. And then I'm sort of the final review of the client books. So a lot of my job is the networking, the sales, that aspect of it. And she was telling me that the reason she got out of the business was because she really didn't enjoy bookkeeping. And she ended up just referring her clients out to other people so that she could do more coaching. But she talked about how if it had occurred to her to do what I was doing, she could have kept her business and she wouldn't had to have done the daily the client work. She could have been continuing to do that business while also doing what she loves.
Right.
And that's really what it's about. And as I'm sure you talk about on the show all the time, that's a valuable company. A very valuable company is one where the owner can walk away and the company still continues to grow and thrive without the owner there, so that's the goal.
I had a coach, a business coach, or I'm sorry, a business broker on this show. And so he specializes helping businesses sell their business. And here's what piece of advice he said is if you can't step away from your business and it runs without you, then anybody who would be looking at your business is buying a job, and no one wants to buy a job.
Exactly.
And he really encouraged business owners to level up so that their business can run without them.
That's exactly right.
Your story about the other bookkeeper who had to who left her business, it reminds me of the story of the golfer. He loved playing golf, and he felt like it was time to go start his own business. So he searched and searched and searched for a business, and he said, well, I love playing golf. I should open up a golf store, selling the clubs and the balls and all the accessories that come with golf. He absolutely hated it. And so he was talking with his business coach. Like, I don't understand it. I love golf, but I hate running my business. And the coach helped him understand, you love playing golf. You need to be in sales because you get to take your clients out and do business on the course. You don't want to run a golf business. So yeah, it's a unfortunate lesson that some business owners have to learn. And sometimes they do learn it and they can make that adjustment. And other times they walk away from that business.
Yes, it does happen. And I think we all probably know, whether consciously or subconsciously, that we gravitate towards those things that we enjoy the most.
Oh, yeah.
And for me, that is sales and marketing. I love meeting new people. I love being out there and talking about my business. And I have a great team who largely does not like doing those things. They like being here doing the client work, which is great. So, I specifically am looking for those people that typically are introverts, because that's typically the kind of people that enjoy doing bookkeeping, so that I can go do what I love to do. and they can do what they love to do. And we're all happier because of it.
Well, I mean, you're demonstrating a tremendous amount of intelligence to realize that you're good and passionate doing what you like to do.
Mhm.
And then you've got to hire for the right fit. So looking for those introverts, looking for those people who might not want to be in front
Mhm.
of other individuals, other even clients. They just want to be heads down in the books. It takes a lot of understanding of your business. How did
Yes.
you how did you go make that transition? How did you decide that this is the way you wanted to structure your business? So you've got employees working with your clients and their books, allowing you to build the business.
I feel very blessed in the regards that I think I'm multi-versatile, and that has helped me tremendously because when needed, I can put my nose to the grind and get into the client's books and do what needs to be done. If we have a deadline or something that we're having a problem with, we can't figure out what's going on, whatever it may be. I'm very capable in that regard. I have a lot of experience with bookkeeping. I've done it since I was a preteen, doing it for my dad's construction company. So I know, what needs to be done there. But at the same time, I also have a lot of talent when it comes to relationships and sales and marketing and that type of thing. So I feel very blessed to sort of be able to fall into both of those roles. But I will say, when I came to the point of knowing I wanted to leave corporate, knowing I wanted to start my own business, I knew I did not want to get bogged down with the bookkeeping, because then the growth potential is so much less if I'm having to do it all.
Right.
And that's a problem because I'm only one person. There's only so many hours in a week. So the ceiling is really low in terms of how much you can grow that way. And I knew that, and I wanted more than that. So because of that, I decided as soon as I quit my job, like, first client I get, I want to find somebody that will be a good fit to service that client.
Mhm.
And that's basically how I've built it from there. And my business model is to find people that are good with part-time, but want to grow. And so I find people that have the experience and the personality fit for whatever client that I get. And then we grow with that client, but also that gives me capacity to give them other work.
Right.
So it's really unique in that way, I think. And not every company can do that. I realize, we're largely remote. And I let my employees work wherever they want, whether it be the office or at home. So we have that unique situation in that we can be completely remote. A lot of people do have to have office hours or a storefront. So, that's a limiting factor a little bit. So I feel blessed in the regards that we've got a lot of flexibility there, and I can attract talent because of that flexibility that maybe other companies wouldn't be able to attract. So there's a lot that goes into that,
Mhm.
but that's definitely been my mindset from the very beginning, is to make sure I am able to walk away from this company and it's still run like a well-oiled machine. And large part of that, I realize, is going to be my ability to build good processes, to build standard operating procedures, which is something we've got to work on. One thing that is on my radar that I'm looking at right now is workflow software.
Mhm.
Right now, we're using spreadsheets and checklists on spreadsheets. It works to a degree, but it doesn't give me the capability of having a dashboard to see at a glance what deadlines are coming up, what are we behind on, which hopefully is nothing. But right now, it's a manual process of having to go into different spreadsheets for each client to see, okay, what's going on? Has this been updated? So I realized the need for having a really good workflow software that will give us that visibility we need, give the bookkeeper that visibility, and give me as the owner the visibility to make sure that we are meeting all the client deadlines.
Right.
So things like that are what is going to help us continue to scale, keep on top of everything, but also allow me, once we have those processes in place, to walk away.
So that's a great point. And I guess on this show, we talk more often about working on your business, is getting out there, beating the street, marketing, sales, engaging with customers. But I think what you're highlighting is important as well. Working on your business means that you're forward thinking and you're looking forward going, gosh, how is this going to scale if I add more employees, more clients, and I don't have the process now, I'm just in for trouble. And so working on your business is making sure you have the processes and the technology and the people to
Yes.
scale and grow as your business grows. So it's a really great point that it's not just always about driving revenue. It's about being able to deliver on that revenue as it grows.
Yes, definitely. And I think having really good SOPs, standard operating procedures, is key to the ability to get it working like a well-oiled machine. So that's my goal. Not only do I want to have it painstakingly documented, but I want to also have videos to show for each step in this process that we have to do every month. This is how to do it.
Right.
So anyone from the street, which I don't hire people off the street. I do hire people that have experience in bookkeeping, but I would like to make our SOPs so thorough that someone could walk in from the street, watch a video, read the step-by-step instructions, and do what needs to be done for that client in its entirety. Right. That's how well I want it documented. So that's the goal. Am I there yet? No. But it's on the radar.
Well, and it'll be always evolving because
yes,
you'll get more and more clients, which creates more and more problems of scale. And then technology, you always got to keep up with technology, and who knows where technology is going to go in the future.
Yeah, that is true. Yes.
Well, you're learning some awesome lessons just in your own business. You work with a lot of business owners. So what do you see is their biggest challenges getting out of the weeds and focusing on their business?
Let me think about that. I can think of one particular client that is trying to retire. He would love to be retired, but he keeps getting pulled back in. And, because no matter how much he tries to get out to the lake and get away from it all, something happens, right? There's an emergency, something they can't figure out, something, whatever, and he has to come back and deal with all the issues. In his case, if I was giving him advice, which, I try to stay in my lane in that regard, I'll certainly consult if they ask my advice. But if I was to give him advice in that regard, I think what he really needs is someone that is not, I don't think he can necessarily find someone at his level, because if someone's at his level, they probably are running their own company. But someone that's definitely got a lot of experience behind them, that can troubleshoot things that his, lower level tradesmen just don't know. They're just not experienced enough. And I think he's been hesitant to do that simply because of the cost of hiring a more experienced person. But the problem is that anytime a problem comes up that his less experienced people can't handle, he has to get pulled back into it. Right. So it's kind of being strategic, I suppose, about your hiring and making sure that you've got someone in place that can take that higher level problem solving on when you walk away from it. Right. So that's part of it, really, is organizational structure, and probably just strategy and figuring out, who do I need to hire and when? If I was to die today and no one was, I was no longer able to work in this business, where would the holes be? Whether it be in the experience, the knowledge, the workflow, whatever it is, and how can I strategically go about getting those holes plugged?
Right. Well, it's something that we talk about a lot. And do business owners really understand the worth of their time? Because when they do, then it's almost a simple mathematical question. If your time is worth, say $200 an hour, and you can spend that time doing what is going to deliver for your business, and you can hire someone less than that, then there's arbitrage in between that. And in this particular client of yours, he's got this intangible where he wants to be at the lake as well. I don't know if you can
Yes.
price on that, but we talk about that a lot, about how helping business owners make that mathematical decision about when the
Hmm.
right time to hire, and do they really understand where they're spending the time, and where that time spent isn't really delivering the what their time is worth.
Right. Yes, I agree completely. And it is truly strategy. I mean, I think people that have a strategic mindset get it a lot faster than people that don't necessarily, because you really are, if you think of a strategy board game, and whatever the objective is, you've got to think about all the different options and what is going to be the most advantageous to getting your goal,
Yeah.
which is winning the game, right? Same thing in business. There's a million different ways you can go about just about anything in business. So it's considering and weighing the options, being quick enough with the decision to make it by the time you need to make it, but also being smart enough to consider the various options and not making rash decisions that ultimately usually are not the best ones. So it really is a strategy game. Which, if you think of it that way, maybe, I love strategy. I mean, I'm the first one. If someone's pulling out a board game, a strategy board game, I'm in. Like, I love those games that take like all day, and you're all
Oh
sitting
yeah.
around, and, every turn takes 10 minutes because you're strategizing. I love those games. So to me, that's what I love about business is there is 1,000 ways I could grow this business, 1,000 ways I could do my operations. And to me, that's just fun, like figuring out what is the best way to make this goal happen. I
Right.
love that stuff.
Well, and I like the example of it's like a strategic game, because in those games you're playing the long game, like you're planning out several moves in advance,
Hmm.
just like in business. You might need to hire that junior person, but realize that it's going to take time to develop that person to be able
Yes.
to replace you at some point in the future, and that doesn't happen overnight.
Right. You're right. Exactly. Everything really has a trade-off. You can hire an extremely experienced person, but the trade-off being, I'm going to pay more for that person.
Right.
You can hire a
They
less
probably have
expensive
their own way of
person.
doing things too.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's another trade-off, right? You can hire a less experienced person, but then you're going to have to invest a lot more in training. There's a lot of trade-offs there. And the hiring process is a big key to all of this, really. Making sure you have a good process to find the right person. I have a podcast called By the Books, and we actually recorded an episode today about hiring employees.
Mhm.
And that's really where it all begins.
Yeah.
Making sure that you take the time at the very beginning before you bring that person into your organization. I now do a lot of assessments to assess cognitive ability, personality, skill set, in addition to doing the background check and the reference check and all of that, because I've realized very quickly how important that initial due diligence is to getting the right team member.
Right.
And is that going to be 100% foolproof? No. I mean, somebody could get through all of that with flying colors and it still not be a good fit. It's going to happen. But the more you do up front, the better you can weed out the people that definitely would not be a good fit.
Right. Well, and it's realizing again, the importance of that long game, because you're building a culture in your business, and every business owner
Yes.
does, whether they know it or not. And hiring early on for what that cultural fit you want to have is really, really important.
Yes, definitely. That is a big, big priority for me.
Right.
Actually, that whenever I thought about building a company was my main objective, was to build a company that was as much about employee empowerment as it was about service to clients. I didn't know exactly where I wanted to go with that. And eventually it turned into bookkeeping and that became my business. But that's just the vehicle. The real mission for me is making a huge difference in the lives of my clients and my employees. And so I'm very big on culture. And that's something I actually talked about in my podcast today, was that I'm looking for people that reach out to me personally when they look at my job ad, which I'll tell you, my job ads are very non-traditional.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, my job ad is me speaking from the heart to say, here's what my vision is, who's on board.
Right.
And so the people that reach out to me, I put all my information on there so they have multiple ways to get a hold of me. And I do that very strategically to see who's going to take advantage of it. So the people that reach out to me to tell me, your ad really spoke to me, I get what you're trying to do, that is going to be, they're immediately moved to the top of the list in terms of people I'm looking at, I'm talking to, and going further in the hiring process, because I see, okay, they get what I'm trying to build here. They see the mission, and it resonated with them.
Right.
So that means that our culture should be a good fit, and it's not going to be for everyone. I know that. I'm very passionate about it. And the way I'm going about things is very unorthodox. And I've had people flat out tell me they could never work in an environment that I'm building for numerous reasons, because my philosophy is actually pretty radical.
Right.
I'm trying to be the anti-employer, the employer that I never had but always wanted. And people have flat out told me it will never work. And maybe they're right. I'm still at the beginning stages of this. So maybe I'll fall flat on my face and say, okay, you were right, it doesn't work, but I'm willing to try.
There's no right or wrong answer. There's no right or wrong answer. It's all about execution.
Touche.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to get right, is the execution, because that's where it begins, is in the hiring process. And the more due diligence I can do at the very beginning, before they start one single day with me, the better off we're all going to be in the long run.
Right. Well, awesome. So things are going very well at Sakline. I know, like I said, you're just bringing on new employees here this week.
Yep.
Well, how will businesses that need bookkeeping services, or bookkeepers that are looking for that cultural fit, how would they get in touch with you and learn more about Sakline Bookkeeping?
So our website, we have a lot of information there at sakline.com, sakline.com. Email is info@sakline.com. I also have a podcast called By the Books, which is on Apple, Google Play, Spotify. And we also have a YouTube channel, By the Books. And there's links to that YouTube channel on our website, sakline.com. So multiple ways that you can get in touch with me. We're on all the social media. Well, I should say all, there's so many now. We're on the major social media platforms, which are also in the upper right-hand corner of our website. So that is how people can reach us.
Awesome. So lots of different ways. And I had a chance to be on your show. It's a great topic that we got a chance to talk about. And always bring in new content and new topics. So definitely everyone should check out your show as well.
Yes, and I appreciate you being on our show. That was actually a great episode. We talked about how to find the right CPA and the questions you should ask.
Right.
And I think that was one of the best episodes we've done, actually. So I appreciate you coming on.
You bet. I had to dust off my certificate. It's been a while since I talked about being a CPA.
Well, I remember when we had the first conversation where I brought up that I was starting to work on that topic for an episode. And man, you just started rattling off things. Well, you should ask this, and you should ask this, and make sure you ask that. I said, you know what? I think you're the perfect guest to have for this episode.
Awesome.
And you gave a lot of great points. So I'm so glad we did that.
Yeah, me as well. Well, Lindsay, thank you again for joining me today. I think this has been a great conversation. I look forward to continuing to talk with you and work with you going forward.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate being on your show.
Well, thanks again, Lindsay, for being on the show. She is the president of Sakline Bookkeeping and the host of By the Books podcast. What she shared today was spot on. I thought the biggest takeaway for me was realizing that if you don't structure your business model up front so that you can eventually work on it versus in it, will result in you always being trapped in your business in the day-to-day. So you definitely need to think about up front, how do you structure your business and your business model so that you can work in those areas of the business that are your strengths, and then hire for those areas of the business that are not your strengths. The other key takeaway I thought was actually one of the first times we've talked about this on the show is working on your business isn't always driving revenue. It's also driving efficiency. and the importance of working on your business so that you have the right process and technology in place so that you can get the work completed efficiently and ultimately it scales as your business grows. So keep in mind, working on your business is also forward-looking as well as working to build the revenue and the customer count. Again, we talked about know your worth. This is a recurring theme that I see with a lot of my guests and a lot of the business owners. Realizing that when you know you are worth, then you tend to hire when you are spending time that's not returning what you are worth. This has been another fantastic episode of 100% On, Not In Your Business. My name is Steve Stump, and I help business owners get and keep employees so that they can work on their business and not in their business. I do this by allowing them to attract and retain employees with fantastic health and life insurance benefits. If you are looking to add benefits, it's more within your reach as a business owner than you think, and I would love an opportunity to talk with you. My name is Steve Stump. You can find me by just Googling Insure Me Steve, and then let's set up an appointment to talk. I can't wait till next week's episode. If you haven't already given it a like and a share, please do so, and I look forward to sharing with you next week's guest.